Economist Dr. Kwame Banyama has called on the central bank to adopt a new and efficient formula for the calculation of base rates. Now, Dr. Kwame Banyama tells Abigail Adumakwenchi the unclear and inconsistent mode by which base rates are calculated in Ghana's fiscal regime has resulted in the fiscal imbalances and will deepen the woes of business owners in the country if not checked.
What makes we believe that the current base rate formula that we are using is appropriate and is also not contributing to the sustained high interest rate? Because once you're saying that the banks are looking at the cost of funds as a component of the base rate calculation, it also means that government budget deficits, which affects government borrowing, which then increases the T-bill rate, which is a representative rate as far as investors, both savers and lenders, are concerned. When somebody is going to ask for, to invest in fixed deposits, he's looking at the T-bill rate. So when government fiscal deficits leads to an increase in the T-bill rate, and it is then used as an input in the calculation of the base rate, technically what it means is that the government inefficiencies, which are leading to fiscal imbalances, which are creating problems for crowding out, is being passed on to the customer. Because once the T-bill rate goes up, then to all intents and purposes will affect banks' base rates in general. So if I pass on the government's, let's say, inefficiency in quotes, the bank's own inefficiency, I put it in a formula and I get a figure, and the central bank says you cannot lend below it, I'm suggesting that maybe we need to rethink the formula. Because it's not the only way of calculating base rates. Others can tweak the current base rate figure. For instance, one of the components includes subtracting your other assets from your total assets as one of the denominators. I'm saying, why are we subtracting something from something? Is it because it works somewhere else, so it will work in Ghana?
Well, that was economist Dr. Kwame Banyama. Now, Chief Executive of the Private Enterprise Federation, the PEF, Nana Osebunso, has advised small and medium enterprises to explore other avenues for credit apart from banks. Now, he says with the banks charging astronomical rates on their loans, SMEs are better off turning to equity investors or capital ventures for funds to run their businesses.
SMEs often complain about the difficulties they encounter in accessing funds for their business. For them, the high interest rates of banks have compounded the challenge. While the Chief Executive of Private Enterprise Federation, PEF, is not oblivious of the challenge, he maintains accessing credit from banks is not the only way out.
As somebody said, the doomsday is going to go away one day. The huge borrowing is going to go away one day. The deficit are going to go away one day. But access to finance is going to be there forever. So unless you position yourself in a way that you can take advantage of, you wouldn't know what to do. Now it became obvious that you have insurance products that you can use as collateral. It became obvious that you have private equity funding that you can tap into without any additional interest costs. You have the alternate market that you can go and raise money. So all these things exist.
Banks, although willing to help SMEs contend, they are in to make profits as businesses.
Is the policy rate actually doing the work that it's supposed to do? Because if the policy rate is supposed to be the rate at which the central bank lends to the banks, and the central bank says, no, but when you need money, I'll lend it to you at the policy rate plus 3. So it comes out to what? 25. So why would a bank go and borrow at 25% and come and give it to you at 24 or 22? And so when you, as an SME, you approach a bank for money, don't go with the mentality that it is the responsibility of the banks to help small businesses grow. Yes, we know that, but it's not their defined corporate social responsibility. The business that the proposal you are bringing should make economic sense to the bank.
It is for such arguments that the PEF engaged the private sector and financial institutions to understand issues surrounding credit and the credit opportunities that exist for SMEs. The financial literacy seminar was also to provide a networking platform for small businesses. Abigail Adumakwenchi for Joy News.